nothing but your fool. You treated me mean. How the devil are you, everybody? How are we on this fine Sunday? I got the beats bouncing in the background there. Let me crank that down. You know how it rolls by now. Get ourselves set up. I choose this time to set it up just so you're part of my day. You're part of the journey. Come with me. I feel that's comfortable. I don't know. I'll adjust it again. You know. How the devil are you? How have you been? I have been redundant again. I tell you what. I've actually got lots to talk about. So if anything, I'm going to fill your ears full of all sorts of shite. I'm here. I'm flowing. And I'm ready to get going. Do you know what I mean? That's how I'm rolling today. So, yeah, I know I've been away. I told you last time, it's balancing things out in life. You really do have to take the approach, I think, in life, in just making sure that you give yourself the time you need to do the right things and take the right time to do those specific things in your journey. And sometimes, you have to put things aside to make time for those other things. There's a time and a place for everything. If you try and do what I've done over the years, where you just try and go, balls deep, elbow deep, whipping in there like a bull in a china shop, you're not going to get very far, are you? So, and I've spent years bashing my way around these fucking china shops, smashing fuck out of the place, porcelain pissing out everywhere. I've been doing that for years. I've been bashing things. I'm not a very delicate person. It's really weird. It's quite weird. I've been reflecting quite a bit, actually, even on myself, just literally myself. And I am quite a sensitive person. It's quite frustrating because I like to think of myself as a bit of a man's man, a bit hairy, woo, like a bit testosterone-y. And I'm not. I'm a bit of a sensitive old fool. And I'm learning stuff about myself, actually, which is a few things I'm going to talk about as I talk about, as I talk through and get myself caught up, as they say, as I say, actually. So, basically I'm here. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster for the last couple of weeks. As always, life. I say roller coaster. I think we all acknowledge the fact that life is a roller coaster. It's ups and downs and everywhere. The reason I say it's been a roller coaster is because it's been a standard week. It's been ups and downs. I've had goods. I've had bads. I am absolutely acknowledging the fact that I am so unfit. It is disgusting. And I can tell by the way that I'm talking on my podcast that I'm like, are you out of breath? Or is it because you're 3 fucking gins in? I don't know. It could be that I'm 3 gins in. It's a Sunday. I worked all day and then I came back at 3 o'clock. Put 6 fish into my new fish tank early because I've got the patience of a saint. Really, I do. I was like, fuck it, I'm going in. I'm going in. Fishy's going in. Tenner in the bank. And I was a bit excited, and then 2 hours later, fucking died. Then I went back to the fact that I forgot to put the carbon filter system, and so all the additives I put in to kickstart it should have gone through the carbon filters. Schoolboy error, wiped out a fucking small shoal of fish. What a bastard. And I will say to yourself, there'll be men out there going, so what's the fucking point in that, mate? I live in a house with 4 fucking women. When you kill something, you don't get away with just saying, it's a fucking fish. I'm more upset that I spent the money. And that's coming from a male perspective, I suppose. But everyone was like, that's really fucking sad, mate. they're animals. And I'm like, yeah, I have to acknowledge they're animals. And I do feel sorry for them. So let's take this time to flush them down the toilet and fucking get on with life. Anyway, what a wanker. That's what I got called. What a wanker. So, anyway, I digressed massively. There's going to be a lot of digression today, I think, because I've got so much to talk about. I'm a bit excited that I'm in front of the mic. It's been a couple of weeks again. And it's been a roller coaster. Like I said, it's been a roller coaster standard life, really. I've had work ups. I've had massive downs, which have like massively impacted my normal life. And it's really interesting how, because I'm reflecting quite a bit, and I talk about reflection, have done for the best part of 2 years now. That it's basically my rhetoric in life is reflecting on things. Ultimately, because you see, look, I now am in the flow. I've acknowledged that is a little bit too high. See, that's the adjustments, because I'm coming down I get this adrenaline high when I first get going, which is the dopamine rush, the reason why I'm still doing this. The ADHD side of things is Hold on, I was just going to cough off the mic there. The ADHD side of things, that's the reason I do this. It gives me big dopamine hits when I do it, and I get to talk. I feel like it's helping me. So there we go. Once I can calm down a little bit and I get past the excitable bit. And that's the thing with me, is I do. And that's how I know I'm unfit, because normally I wouldn't notice that. But I'm so unfit at the moment because I've just not been doing anything. I've been very, very lazy. I've also been a bit bone idle, actually. Excuse me a second. Didn't like that song. Bit too soppy, really. Yeah, I've just not been taking care of myself, and it's really interesting because I've been reflecting quite a bit on the last couple of weeks, and you know, like I said, I've had ups, I've had downs. I've also reflecting in the evening, and I was talking to one of my colleagues, actually, a very good colleague of mine, to be fair, and I haven't really it's really weird. It's going to sound weird, but it's not meant to be weird. But what I mean is, I haven't let her in. So, what do you mean by that, James? Try and explain yourself to me. Well, what I mean by is let someone in, as in trust them. And for me, letting someone in means I'll start engaging with you on a formal, but informal chats, and I'll just start basically just being a proper friend, or being a proper nice colleague. It takes me a long time to get past the barriers of trust, and I noticed that this week when I let one of my colleagues in, and just been super helpful ever since I have, like really undoubtedly super helpful, almost like a mother really to me, and it's been really, really wonderful. It's been nice just getting the odd text message just saying, how you doing? She even started listening to my podcasts, and I spoke about her the other week, actually, when I was talking about how she recommended her brother to listen to me. So, yeah, just cycling around in my head, and I was reflecting, and I was like, wow, you sort of kind of finally let your guard down to let someone in, and it's a positive. And that's a real good thing, because that just goes to show the mechanisms in my brain are letting the right people in at the right times to basically better my life, and that's the ultimate goal here, isn't it? The ultimate goal is to continue enjoying the journey, the roller coaster, as they say. So I think as every time you're enjoying the roller coaster of life, when you do have the downs, and I've spoke about this very early on in my podcasts, when I was. They were testing me for bipolar disorder, because they were, I was up and down to extremities, and it wasn't. It was a mixture of PTSD, depression, anxiety, fighting, not acknowledging that, and burning myself out. I burnt myself out, and they do say. I mean, I watched a documentary the other day, and they were just on YouTube, and they were talking about how it takes roughly 3 to 4 years to get over properly a burnout, an actual mental burnout, and that's where I got to. I had a physical, mental burnout, and they said, I was chatting to my therapist, and they were like, "No, James, you've had 3 mental burnouts. Every time you've got to the point where, those 3 suicide attempts, that's your mental." Oh, by the way, that's bonfire night. So remember the 5th of November, it's Guy Fawkes night, so you'll hear some in the background as I do the podcast, so yeah, happy bonfire night. And anyway, yeah, so I digress in. So it's just kind of you as you reflect and you learn and you adapt. Put me off a little bit, sorry about the bloody the fireworks, but as you shouldn't go on too long, not in this neighbourhood anyway, because everyone kicks off on Facebook booting off about the fucking fireworks, and so yeah, it was it's going to put me off, I think, but no, we'll try and plunder through. Sorry about that. I took a little break just to see how annoying that was going to be for me, and how anyway, we move on. Yeah, so I've been learning loads about myself and the mental health burnout, and I spoke to my therapist, and he was kind of, yeah, James, you've had 3 of those burnouts. When you get to the point where you've wanted to get, and this is me being open and frank, because that's something I've tried to be more and more so nowadays, is I'm trying to be open and honest with myself and just tell people how I feel. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, that's upset me, but or whatever, or that's that's positive, and let's do that. Whatever. Really try and be open and as transparent as I can. And basically, he said, when you've got to the point of where you've got to where you want to end your life, that's a physical mental burnout, mate. Like, there's no other step. The step after that is you're no longer here to get a mental burnout. So the fact that you've gone through 3 of those, and this isn't, me asking for violins. I'm just trying to say to you, you've gone to this point, but you need to acknowledge that every time you have a mental health burnout, so to speak, you're taking time off of your life. We spoke about stress. We spoke about everything else, but it's not just that. It's the fact that we don't allow ourselves the full recovery time. We just think we're machines, and we're not machines. We're completely the opposite to being a machine. Yet when you look at society, there's no difference to what we do, as we're all in a factory of some description. We're all machines. We're all trained to get up at a certain time, do certain things at certain times. Your tea break will be now. Your dinner break will be now. You finish at this time, and then you must go and do this, this, and this. And then somewhere in that timeline, you'll get a little bit of time for yourself. Even less so when you have children and things like that. So we chuck a lot of mechanisms into our environment to make it even harder whilst we're trying to be machines. And when you actually reflect, and again, this is all to do with reflection for me, when you actually reflect, you actually analyze that we are all just robots. We're all expected to do the same thing. We've put on a bit more weight, so now we need to get back into a routine of, I need to walk at least 1.5 miles a day. I need to drink this amount of water. There's no difference between, you being a beaten up bloody robot that now needs to go in for a service. You need to get your battery health checked. So that we're not treated any different in society as machines. We are basically, we're machines. A lot of us are. And there's people that aren't even as privileged to have free time. We've got a lot of people that are in sort of factory workers that are actually an extension of a machine. So when you battle all that and you put that all onto your mental health, and you have these mental health burnouts, when you get to a point where you're physically burnt out, you need time off for stress, or you feel overwhelmed and everything's getting on top of you, that every time you keep going, I'm okay, bosh, and just plodding the fuck on, just literally ploughing through the snow, every time you do that, every time you don't acknowledge your mental health needs a break properly, you're doing damage to yourself all the time. You're not living life. You're just going through the fucking motions. And nobody needs to go through the motions of life. Yes, we have to get jobs, to get money, to do the fun things, to travel the world, because social media tells us that everywhere is amazing. The grass is always greener on the other side. So I want a piece of that pie. I want to go over to Magaluf and get bummed because I can't get bummed in fucking, my local city. I'm going to spend £500-600, but I need to do that £500-600 now. It's going to cost me 1,000 because I need new clothes and I need to do this and this. So we're chasing the dream all the fucking time. So, our mental health never ever gets a proper break. And then you get to the point where you actually get burnout. And when you consider that I've had 3 burnouts, and again, this isn't the violin show, but when you consider that I've had 3 of those, you then get to the point where you're like, have I given myself 3 to 4 years between those burnouts to recover? And the answer is no, because that would equate to 9 years if you were going to go on the minimum factor. So you're talking a minimum of 9 years. So it's not been that long since I last had one of the episodes. It was only 2 years ago, because when I started this. So theoretically, I'm still in the recovery phase of that incident, and look what I've still got to do. I'm still going through that burnout. However, when I felt the burnout, my choice was to get a new job and elevate my life and sort things out, make my home cozy so I felt welcomed into my own home, etc., etc. Did all of that. Have I given myself physical time to recovery? No, what I've actually done in that space of time is I've gone into a complete new job in a complete new organisation, done a year in that, then changed my job completely into another complete and utter job, different job, and done that for 2 years almost. And in that time now I'm pushing for my next promotion. And in that time as well, I've done a whole host of very top level exams and qualifications. I've done NEBOSH Gas and Oil, NEBOSH Fire, fucking I've done my level 6 in that space of time. My NCRQ. I've done P405, P400. I've done all the 900. So all this education, and I literally mean, I'm not kidding you. And this is not being big-headed. This is just the amount of burnout that I've given myself. But I've done that to mask all of my mental health shit. I've just ploughed. So I've not learned anything. So and I want to come back round and I talk about the safety circle, as I call it, which is like the completion. So everything I believe, everything in safety I believe should be a circle. Now, that's my interpretation. So, and the reason I say circle is because I use it as in there should always be a closure point. There should always be, are you unsafe? Do all the fucking checks. And you should come all the way back round to, no, I'm not unsafe. I'm actually safe and I'm carrying on as normal. So you've completed the circle, but you've done your checks on the way around that fucking circle. And everything's like that. Accident investigation is the same. Anything you look for the root cause. So you come back round, root cause is this, deal with it, your circle's complete. Hopefully that circle will never come and happen again. And that's ultimately like how I think about things with mental health. And have I closed that circle? And the answer is no, I haven't. I've plodded on through life. Even though I've spoken in that timeline on this podcast, 300 episodes of mental health disasters, ups, downs, left, rights, fuck knows is what I should have put, but that slipped in there nicely. So and I have been everywhere. I've been up, down, left, right. I don't know where I've been. I've tried new courses. I've met friends that I think are really good friends and then have gone off and done their own thing because they're on their own path. And I was one of those people in his journey that was, and I don't, this isn't to sound like, all like compassionate, and it's not like that. But what I mean is I was part of that person's journey or that friend's journey as they went on their own path. And I talk about how sometimes people will come into you and provide a chapter into your, that scared the fucking shit out of me, sorry. It went whoosh, boom. But you'll have people that will come into a chapter in your life, and I talk about that, and it's really easy to talk about that, but then you have to acknowledge that sometimes you're the person that went into someone else's life as their chapter, and that falls into a little bit of the RSD, the rejection sensitive disorder that comes with ADHD. So for me, it's a constant battle. It's a constant sort of evaluation of every step I take to try and complete my circles and make sure that I'm looking after myself. And I haven't done that. And there'll be 9 times out of 10, I guarantee, if you work on the basis of everything that I say. So everything I've said, I'm not saying, like I said, it's the word of fucking James, because it's not. Let me take a sip of my gin. 2 seconds, baby. I need to wet the whistle. And it's not the life of James, but everything I talk about seems to work, And I talk about the steps in life, and when you have children, life does become a rocky road. We need to accept that. It's how you manage yourself. Sometimes you have to just wake up and grow up. I did that 3 months ago. Wake up, went, fuck are you doing, James? And it's all part of the process, all part of the journey. And you have to constantly reevaluate, because if everybody did, fucking hell, I thought that was in me fucking, I thought it was in me house. Somebody's decided to put that literally right outside my house. That's a bit ridiculous. Sorry, excuse me. Now my dogs are going mental. So, and my house is getting showered with with fireworks. Look at the disaster, mate. I don't mean to moan. I'm not, but I am going to moan. What the fuck are you doing fireworks literally a metre away from my fucking house? It's fucking fireworks, and that's the safety of me. I'll try and carry on till the next fucking clown. It's only, it's pretty much like me in bed. It's quick and over in no time at all. So basically, anyway, I'm going to try. I've lost my train. This is what happens. I lose my train of thought. It's bad enough trying to keep my train of thought on the best of tracks as it is. I'm learning all the time, and it picks up and perks up about ADHD, and I'm learning to live with that. And even the stuff that I've talked about and the stuff I don't adhere to all the time. But if we all did everything that I say, so if we all took the right time for mental health, if we all took 3 months to learn the habit, if we did all of these things and made sure that we took time out of our life to look after ourselves and all that sort of stuff, if we'd have done all of that, then absolutely I think we'd all be hunky-dory. You'd all be singing. We'd certainly all be in a better place. But it's not always the case. We don't always get that opportunity to do that. So sometimes, unfortunately, and the reality of life is, unfortunately, you do get to the point where you have to make compromises, and that's no easy way. It's not an easy thing to do, because what are you going to compromise? For instance, I should have really compromised, my gaming, for instance. When I was fucking massively into PC gaming, I should have switched on, been a fucking decent dad, and become and looked after my children. I didn't fucking do that, did I? I took to, my own mental health, went down that route, and I got the addiction from the dopamine. Again, I'm learning stuff now about my mental health conditions and how it's affected me. But every single day is a roller coaster, and like I say, we revert back to. There's times when there's ups, there's downs, there's left, rights. It's no path that you ever take is going to be a walk in the park. There's going to be some negativity in your life, and that's because I've had a drink now. So there's going to be some negativity in life, and sometimes you've got to push other things aside, or just push them to the side for a brief period of time and say, I'm going to give that a break for now because I need to concentrate on that. Otherwise, you just build up this burnout, and you get to the stage where, yes, they're still going. You get to the stage where it's, Christ, they are literally in my house. They're doing it out the front of their house. What a clown. What a clown. Oh, there's some fucking morons in this fucking world, I tell you. That's what I have to deal with as well. We're trying to have a relaxing time here, and he's got fucking Whopper chops out there. See, I'm 20 minutes in, I don't want to stop. I wish he was like my sex life. Come on. Wrap it up, big boy. Fuck's sake. Fucking, you've got a fireworks show, but you've got the bangs and the bangs and the booms, but not the the stars and the fucking lit up sky. Although I'm just got it being rained down on. I'm going to try and get myself together in a minute when this clown stops. I mean, Christ alive. I mean, what I don't get is you should have these. The reason I say you should have these in proper professional environments is, I know a lot of soldiers that have severe PTSD due to military life, and I've been in war zones. I've been to places, and I know those sounds are so similar. It's absolutely terrifying. Like, it's terrifying. And I've seen people react at fireworks and not know. Like, literally come back, and we had fireworks show. It was around when we came back, and it's only about 6 months after the person that I knew come back, and literally it was normal as hell. We didn't think nothing of it, and then he just stood there, and that fucking bada bing bada boom went off, mate, and he fucking dropped to the floor, and never seen anything like it. It was, and that's the reality. That's why they should be saved organised events, because then you can choose to be put in that environment. If you're sat in the safety of your own home, and this isn't me bitching, it is me bitching and moaning, but it's not me being a victim elder. This is just like the sensibility about life. Do you really need to let off fireworks out the front of your house and shower everyone's fucking gardens in fucking fireworks? No, you don't. You absolutely do not need to do that. Do you need to have banging and fucking whistles going at fucking 8 o'clock at night when you're trying to sit down in the evening after a stressful day, watching fucking, watching something on TV? You don't need to hear that. So that's where life, when people see the bitch and moan, don't have to let you know. No, but you need to have a bit of common fucking courtesy, mate. You need to understand that people have different lives. And I think it's a very selfish way of looking. I'm going to fucking put it in front of my garden. I'm going to fucking bada bing, bada boom. And they don't understand the consequences. And then we all know about dogs. And that's the reality. The dogs get the anxiety as well. But not just dogs. There's human beings that get PTSD. And I've seen and heard stories of people with PTSD just going batshit crazy and almost feeling like they're in that same environment. And just, there's been families that have witnessed this, and just, it scares the shit out of them. And you're putting them in an environment where they think they're safe in their home. And this could be, and I'm only categorizing men and military because that's an experience for me, but there'll be all sorts of people out there that maybe you've got PTSD from a fucking car crash like I have, and you hear the fucking bang of the airbag going off. It's very similar to that. And it does. It makes you think, and it does scare the shit out of you because you switch off from it, and you just like, fucking hell, don't expect it. That's why you should save these things. So just have a little bit of forethought, you know. And that's just playing devil's advocate, showing you why, the reason why sometimes there is some, you know, there's a little something behind that story. Anyway, I digressed massively, didn't I? Because of that hoo-ha. It's probably still going on, to be fair. So we'll play that by ear, but we'll see what we can do. So yeah, roller coaster of life. Roller coaster, it really is. But if we all did what we were supposed to do, and even now I reflect heavily, and I use reflection as a really key fundamental basis, shall I say, foundation of my mental health well-being. If I don't do anything in life, or say in life, if I don't do anything in that day at all, I will make sure I will reflect. And I use that on the basis that it was weird, because I'm going to talk about a quick story at work that may seem trivial to some people, but really does affect me. And at the moment, I'm going through this real big battle at work I work in safety, and inherently, you know, you're saving people's lives. And I'm not talking Superman. I don't mean like that at all. But you are trying to keep people fucking safe. And you are trying to save lives. You do when you go through all the safety parameters of everything and learning it all. The one bonus thing it is, it's very interesting, because you understand how dangerous the smallest of things can be. I think personally, it's only through a passion that I like it, but at the same time, I would prefer to be one of those people that just go through life completely and utterly naive to any dangers, and just goes through and goes, well, I didn't even, those ones that literally cross the road and there's a car fucking plows past them at 400 miles a fucking hour and misses them, and they get a little brisk whisk on the back of their fucking mullet, and then they go, and just carry on walking like nothing happened, you know, and when you understand that and you look at things, and I walk around and I see things all the time, it's fucking crazy. And even to the point where, you know, you actually do go above and beyond, you know, in the sense of how you do things. But yeah, I think because of that, it sort of kind of makes you a little bit paranoid, I suppose. And with this investigation, I sent out an email, and it wasn't damning, but it was basically saying I was just disappointed. That's the only word I used. Disappointed in the process that hadn't been followed again, and it's not showing the seriousness of the investigation. That's my tagline. And basically that was it. But I got told my wording was damning, and I had to write an apology. And how do you write an apology as somebody who's dealing with safety? You just completely and utterly remove integrity. And that's because people are just trying to be dickheads at the moment. So it's a battle. But what you don't realise is, what the people don't realise is, so I sent that out, and then somebody reacted to that, didn't read the full message, thought it was intended for them, came back at me with a really fucking strong email that went stratospheric, reacted like I used to react. And then basically come back round again, and you know, I rung them up, and it was an apology, and my boss was like, that's a bit damning, and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, sat there going, wow. And the emotional impact that had on me was like, I was just doing my fucking job, mate. I literally was just doing my job, and you've made it feel like I'm a dickhead because I've just done my job properly. Is that what you're saying? And that's the way you feel sometimes. And you know, and like, colleagues don't realise that when they ignore you or don't interact with you but want your help and things like that affects you. It's a constant battle going through life, and work does stir those emotions up sometimes. And that's where you rely on the key indicators, shall I say, the key things to keep you perked up, you know. And I know for a fact that like I say, I talk to my friends regular. I'm like, how are you doing? Just to keep up the key instigators, you know, to perking my mental health up. And I think it's worked, but at the same time, it's frustrating me at the moment. I'm just going to take a sip. I don't need to announce that, but I did. It's just really frustrating me at the moment, in the sense that I don't know whether I'm coming or going at work. I don't know where, you know, I'm trying to push, but it's like, I don't know, there's just a lot of resistance. Then you go, that's fucking batshit crazy, I'm telling you now. Sparklers, mate, sparklers, fucking booting off everywhere. It's going to put me off, but I'm going to keep on going through. Yeah, so yeah, it's just been kind of, everything's been a roller coaster, and you have to kind of manage that, and you have to kind of think about everything as you go through. And what frustrates me the most is the whole letting go of certain things, like the podcast. I have to acknowledge that I'm exhausted. It's like today, I've worked today. I had yesterday off, but worked most of Friday. Massive hours last week. an emotional roller coaster last week in terms of falling out and the way that I'm, being perceived at work a little bit, and trying to ignore it, but it does affect you mentally. Long drives, long hours. Went to one site to do what I call a health check, and you kind of come back from the health check and nothing's changed in the last 8 months that you've already told them everything they need to do. So it's like wears you down a little bit. So sometimes you can get worn down in work without even knowing it, and it's just because other people aren't doing their work. So it's a constant battle. So what I'm trying to learn is I'm trying to adapt that, and I'm trying to sort of key myself back a little bit and just basically say, well, don't let that, you can't let that worry you, James. You have to let that go. You've done what you can to get it to that point. It's irrelevant now. Move on. And I'm learning that, and that's evolution in me. That's evolution in taking control of my mental health, and that's the importance of taking control of your mental health in whatever capacity it may be. Make sure you get out and you have a bit of fun. I was chatting to a load of people. I was waiting because our trains were delayed because of Storm Kiran, or whatever it was. I think it was Kiran or Kiron. I can't remember, but it was a storm in the UK. It wasn't a fucking storm. It was a little bit of wind, but we're trying to pump this whole climate change shit up. So it was basically a fucking drizzle. Yeah, 6 o'clock at night, it was like there's a fucking cyclone hitting the UK. And I'm like, a fucking cyclone, mate? I don't fucking think so. I don't fucking think so. Literally came in, mate, and I don't even think you could have fucking blown fucking leaves off the decking. It wasn't that fucking windy. And the rain, well, yeah, there's a bit of rain for about an hour. That was fucking it. Jesus Christ. If we're calling fucking red warnings and cyclones for that, how do you think fucking... No wonder we're not being taken seriously by fucking other countries. Like, these guys fucking have a speck of rain, mate. There's people out there with monsoons. Fucking get a grip, mate. So anyway, I stopped in the pub and I was having a chat with people, and it was really, really nice. It was actually a really big mood booster for me, because I knew I was going into the weekend and I wasn't seeing my mates. So I was kind of like, fucking hell, I can't go another couple of weeks, not having some sort of party or some sort of bit of fun or doing something. It's kind of, you're trying to balance the happiness with the expectations and everything else. But I managed to get out for a pint, had a good catch up. And I was saying to them, life's too short. You've got to fucking get out there. You've got to do what you can. You've got to enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, then find out why you're not enjoying it. Because there's no point. You've got one life, for fuck's sake. And if you're not enjoying it for whatever reason, try and address that fucking reason. Try and fix the reason. If the reason can't be fixed, then move on. Fucking, you've got one chance at this life. One go at it. That's all you've got. And I see so many people, and I'm, I try to make the most out of life as much as I can. This has been a fucking difficult year for me, because I decided, like I said, I was trying to get everything in order, finances, all that jazz, really working hard. More for 24 is my tagline. I've been saying that to my mate. I've been saying, more for 24, not poor for 24. So we've been sitting on that, and that's our tagline from the whole of this start of 2023 was more for 24, because we wanted to get, as much work in, save as much money, really try and pull ourselves in a little bit so we can start enjoying life. Because, past fucking James was an absolute fucking frivolous wanker, throwing his money around like he was a fucking billionaire. You know what I mean? I was on a fucking champagne lifestyle on fucking Lamborghini money. You know what I mean? It's basically... I'm just picking myself up and getting myself back online, back on track. And, excuse me, and what's helped me on that whole journey is managing everything. What's helped me and pushed all of that and driven all of that is doing all of the things I've been talking about. And yes, acknowledging what works, what doesn't work for me. Trying that. Did that work? No. It's like I know now. I've got a sauna blanket. It's great. I do half an hour of that, a quick cold shower, and a walk. And that is it. It does everything for me. Everything it says on the tin. And I found it's nice and easy. It's nice and streamlined. Takes me an hour a night, and it's job done. So it's kind of like finding out what works for you, because not everything will work for you. There's times where I get demotivated massively, and I'm like, how the fuck do I get this motivation back? It's like this podcast, for instance. I think because I've been doing it for such a long time, and basically not getting as much feedback, or the dopamine wasn't coming back, if you like. That's the easiest way to explain it, because it's not because I'm negative against it, because I love talking. Anyone that knows me, once I get fucking going, that's it. They always say a happy man is a talking man. So if I'm talking to you a lot, it's because I'm happy, and it is, and vice versa. So it's a really important message. Otherwise, because I can guarantee those 7-8 years that I was in the deepest of my depression, I hardly spoke at all. I would go out, do Larry things and fucking blow the fucking roof off, and do stupid shit, but I hardly spoke. In fact, I remember the last 2 to 3 years of last 2 years of my job, when I worked for Serco, I didn't speak to anyone. I literally shut myself in an office, stopped sitting in the T-bar with everybody. I literally just shut myself away. I was like, I'm fully done with society. I'm done with life, and that led into the suicide attempt. And that was so. That's there's always key bits that you need to look out for. But what you need to remember is life's fucking short, and that's the positive bit. There is life is short. Like, I've had a roller coaster of a fucking week. Yeah, granted, but at the same time, I've managed it. I've got through it, and I've gone, well, okay, well, it doesn't matter. You'll need me before I need you. I'm not going to fucking lose sleep over it. I don't want to lose relationships over it, and I mean like working relationships, because, you can't go on fucking in life. It's really, really hard if you haven't got people on side, and I try to be as friendly as I can. So, I try to build those relationships, apologize when I can, and move on and move up. So everything's a battle, though. And I say battle because it sounds like, oh, fuck, I can't be asked for that. And the reason I put battle on it in my own head is because I want to acknowledge it's a battle, because I want to feel proud when I get to those achievement markers for me. Like, if that achievement marker for my day is to get up, go into work, and fucking answer some emails, if that achievement marker is fucking hit, then I'm happy. And even if I get to 11 o'clock and I've had enough and I want to clock out, and I do that a lot now, I manage my day. Even my boss said to me, you just fucking go off. I'm like, but Colin, am I not doing my work? No, you are doing your work. Okay, am I managing my time effectively? Yes. Well, why am I going to sit in fucking work, stare at a screen, if I don't need to be? And I've got flexi hours because I've done harder work elsewhere. No, you've got a point. I'd just like to talk to you, which I took that as a humble point, which was really, really nice. But at the same time, I said, as much as I want to talk to you, mate, I'd rather be with my family and my friends. So I do. I manage my day a lot more effectively. I'm really ruthless with how I manage my day. And I think it's really important to do that, because you've got to give yourself value. Again, you don't want to be sitting there just giving up your precious time for nothing. And I say that works in relationships, that works in friendships, that works in fucking work itself, works in work. It works in everything. Don't put in more than you're getting out. It's just no point. And if you're in a relationship or where that's the case, try and address it. I mean, I'm so fucking open and honest now at home. It's unbelievable. Like, if I say something, I'll say, I'm getting really upset with how that you've not shown me any affection for 2 or 3 days. I'm like, you need to do this now. We need to fucking at least have a conversation, because we both go through life. And I have to constantly do that, because if I don't, I'll go fucking off the rails again. And I don't want to do that. So everything is a learning point. Everything's a learning curve. And that's why I make sure that I get key indicators, and it all depends on how I feel. Some people look at me and I try to be as fun and fucking what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of it. I try to be as fun as charismatic. That's the word I'm looking for. I try to be as fun and charismatic as I can be, but it's a facade half the time. And that's not through I don't want to be with those people. That's just because inside I'm tired. I was even in the pub last week when I went to London to speak to everyone. I fucking hated it. I was sweating my ass off with anxiety. Like, literally, I was overheating. There was like so much going on in the pub. It was unfucking believable. Like, the noises, people saying, excuse me, constantly moving. The fucking floor was uneven. That was a safety notice I should have fucking told them about as well. And, but there was so much going on. Lights, doors opening. It was fucking raining outside. I was trying to look at my phone for to find out if my train had been cancelled when the next one was cancelled. You can imagine just going in the pub how, if you're not geared, like a lot of people walk in the pub, they'll just chat, it's chilled, it's a relaxed environment, and they'll have a pint. A relaxed environment, it's not for me. I don't relax fully until I know that everything around me is relaxed. I'm constantly on the go. So I had I mean, the headache and the anxiety and the stress that was being in there. And you look, and everybody's smiling and having a laugh. And I was smiling and having a laugh. I had a good time. I was masking it with my fucking, outrageous fucking humour. I was talking about, what was I talking about? I was talking about tarmacking, teabagging, Mississippi mud pie. I was talking about Urban Dictionary sex stuff, and it was absolutely fucking hilarious. But it was just a facade. When I get into that mood, I'm kind of like the center of attention, just trying to take the mind off the fact that I've actually got crippling anxiety. I'm sweating my ass off. I kept going out the front, went out the front 3 or 4 times to try and cool down. But I wanted to be there, but I was going through so much being there, and I get that all the time. If anyone's watched me hosting stuff, I love hosting, but I want everybody to be happy. And I don't sit down and proper settle down until everyone's eaten, fed, smiled, and everyone says to me, yeah, I've had a good time, and then I relax. And I think we all go through different things, and I know that I've got colleagues that have got anxiety about certain things. It is constant. It is constant. And like I said, the reason I put the word battle on it is because I want to acknowledge the wins. I want to acknowledge the proudness. When I hit those indicators for the day, and if it might mean do this and this, it might mean do something completely outrageous. Like I want to do some more artwork ready for Christmas. I've managed to give a couple away as gifts because I wanted to see people. I wanted the dopamine rush, basically. I wanted to give my art to somebody, and I was kind of hoping they'd appreciate it. I did give a really good one actually to my colleague, and I didn't quite get the reception, although I think that's maybe just the person itself is not quite into overly affectionate. But I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, it has taken pride of place in their house. So that, I suppose, speaks volumes enough for me, which is what I will say caveated with, to have my artwork in the proudest punch in the house. And then I gave one to my brother as well for his birthday, stroke Christmas present, because I did say we don't do birthdays, mate. And yeah, you can have that as a Christmas present as well. He's looked at me and smiled. So I gave him one, and he done the same. He's put it in front of his living room in pride of place. And I think that is that's the dopamine I needed, that I didn't get, which is why they've been sat around for almost a year. But I've got the reinvigoration to start it up again. And that's what I mean by everything's a battle. Because, the win for me is I've acknowledged that I want to do more. That's a win at the moment. I'll take that. It's taken me 6 months to be able to want to do that again. So I'll take the pride that I've won the battle, that I'm changing my mindset. And if you start thinking like that, when you start dealing with mental health journeys, it's like I probably can relate this quite easily to a good friend of mine who's just done the 75 and hard. He didn't quite make it to the end. And I said to him, it doesn't matter, mate. You got to like fucking 66, I think it was 66 days or 67 days, I think he did. And then he had a wedding, which is, I said to him, mate, that's life. But you did 60 odd days straight doing rigid stuff. You were a robot for 66 days. That's a win, mate. Be proud of what you've got to. And I know he is proud. But I said to him, be proud of what you've done. You've done an achievement there, mate. It doesn't matter if you'd have done one day and then come back round and gone, okay, I've done one day. I mean, yeah, well, I probably would have ripped you a little bit for that, but no. But you take each step as it comes. Like I said, some days it's literally an achievement to get out of bed and go. And I've sat in front of my computer sometimes and I've just stared at it and gone, I've got no enthusiasm to do anything. I've got nothing. I've got no dopamine. Nothing at all is coming to me. Nothing's exciting me about this. And that's when I sit there and go, for fuck's sake. And those days drag. They really do drag. But you've got to go through those days. And the achievement was I made it to the end of the day. That was a really fucking awful day. But do you know what? I made it to the end. And tomorrow's going to be a better day. And if you actively say tomorrow's going to be a better day, if you come to the next day and it's not quite as good as you expected, but better than the day before, hey, I'll take that. And that's the importance. We don't give ourselves the wins. None of us do. We all do what I say we do at the top there. We all go up, down, left, right, and who knows? We go, I'm going to go down this fucking route today. Oh, there's a guy over there. He looks like he's successful. You go down that fucking path. You see the success. And he's like, yeah, I am successful, mate. And you spend a year fucking trying to get that success. And then he turns around and says, oh, no, look behind me, mate. There's like a minefield that I had to crawl through to get here. You just seen the end bit. And that's like some of us all try to get that instant gratification and don't realise there's years of hard work to get proper recognition and everything else and develop properly. And that's the important. That comes with mental health. More so than anything in your life. Looking after your mental health will give you so much positivity. If that means putting things aside, put them aside. If that means having that chat with that awkward chat with that friend or that partner, saying, I'm sorry, but I'm not happy because we're not doing X, Y, and Z, or I haven't done this, or whatever, providing it's within reason. You know, you can't turn around and say, I'm not happy because we haven't had a threesome. You might get a slap in the face. Unless that's the way you're inclined, I don't know. But what I mean is, you've got to have fun in life. You've got to take the wins whenever you can get those fucking wins. If that win for me was staying in that pub till 7:15, then that's a win. I'll take that fucking win. If that win was, you know, getting to the doing the 2 site visits and the 3rd site visit on the third day, and you know, getting to the 4th day and still having a fucking long day and still managing to get through, that's a win. Whatever that win may be, however you want to wrap that fucking win up to make it worthwhile, wrap it up, get it in that fucking gift wrap, and then pop it open before Christmas. I can say Christmas now because we're in November. I've still had a virtual slap from somebody for saying fucking Christmas on the 5th of November. Get fucking you're literally on Guy Fawkes night, mate. So yeah, it's important. It's important, and every step counts. Take the wins. Take those wins. If that win, and I will say this because I've been there, if that win is just pulling back that cover and literally going out and getting a glass of water and going back to bed, but you've hydrated yourself, take that as your fucking win. And then give yourself the acknowledgement that you've taken that day. The win was to get that water. Tomorrow, I want to do more. I want to go downstairs tomorrow. I'm going to make myself a sandwich, whatever it may be. Baby steps with everything you may be. It may be I'm going to do something at work, a presentation. I'm going to first do it in front of 5 people because I'm really nervous. Take the win if you succeed. If you don't succeed, or do it in front of 1 person. And just keep working your way up. Get to a certain number and then go, okay, I'll hit the 30 people next. Take those wins. I've done presentations at work with 70 people on a virtual presentation. And I've listened to the fucking the silence, you know, the tumbleweed. And I don't sit and get awkward. I'm here to deliver a presentation. If I did a poor job, tell me. And I didn't get negative feedback. Everyone was like, no, it's well delivered. Okay, well, I'll try and adjust it a little bit next time. You build confidence. So the next time now, I'm a little bit more confident when I deliver. And now I've done it 4 or 5 times. Piss, I'll do it every fucking week. Don't bother me. Because you've built your confidence up to be able to talk. And that's the importance of everything you do. Learn it to the point where you're confident. And then when you're confident at doing it, enjoy it. Don't do what I do, get confident in it, and then don't enjoy it because you think, fuck it, I'm done, I'm moving on. Bastard ADHD. So everything's important. Everything's important. Like I said, it's been a roller coaster, standard life, but it's been a roller coaster for a couple of weeks. And then I've had a good weekend. I've sort of broken in, been tired, but I've rested. I rested yesterday, looked after myself, and then today worked and made sure today was the day where I came and did my podcast because I wanted that dopamine from uploading it. I wanted the dopamine from looking at the Podbean app to go, oh, who's downloaded it? I wanted that dopamine again because I've managed to give myself, I've done a couple of things at work that have now moved to the side, so it's freed up a bit of time. So I know I'm not as detailed in my weeks, so I can be able to undo a few things, if you like, and just chat away. So yeah, it's been, like I say, it's been an absolute fucking journey. And one of the things, before I sort of kind of before I close down and do my little close down piece, that's been it's been a roller coaster. We had fireworks, we've had all sorts going on tonight. I want to just sort of leave you really with something that I'm trying to learn at the moment, which is refocusing my attention. So I'm trying to refocus my attention. And I talk about reflection because I think reflection is such a key part. I think if you can reflect on a certain situation, whether it be, like I said, I reflect pretty much naturally now. I'll look at a situation, and if I feel like, oh shit, that went a bit wrong, or oh, that was a positive experience, I try to reinforce the positivity. If it was if it was a negative experience, I try to find out how was it negative. So I'm constantly trying to evaluate those little things to just kind of make myself happier. Like if I go and speak to someone, I go, oh, I didn't really like that conversation. Thought you're a bit of a fucking dick. I'll make sure next time I won't put as much effort in. And it's little things like that, because then I think, well, that person is a dick, doesn't deserve my attention anymore. So now I'm going to save myself for someone that does want my attention. And I think that's the importance of it. And it's not me like, Christ, that's going to take me fucking hours to do that, James. No, you'll just naturally do it. Like I said, that 3-month point is a learned habit. But by reflecting heavily on, and I say heavily because I like these big robust words, but I say reflecting because sometimes when you just switch off that music and you just sit in silence and you pick on the thoughts, maybe you were feeling, you do that body mapping, when I was talking about that, scanning the body, and you go, oh, there's a bit of tension there, relieve a bit of tension. Oh, okay. And then you sort of kind of reevaluate the day. What am I not doing right? Okay, well, I wanted engagement from my from my colleague. Did I engage? No. But I wanted that engagement, so why didn't I engage? So maybe engage with that colleague, open up that text, and open up that communication. And that's something we all seem to do. We all seem to silo our approaches to life, and we don't actually realise that if you open up your silo to the right people, and this is it, this is the fucking bit, this is the bit that would have been, if I was writing this in an email, it would have been highlighted, bold, yellow highlight, maybe even blue, because I've been using turquoise blue quite a lot lately on my old highlighter pen on my emails, and that would have been it. That would have been my headline. And that's that's the bit that I will constantly dive into. Then I will constantly reflect on that bit. So find what works for you. And one thing that I've really been picking up on is trying to refocus on different things. So if somebody's being a bit negative towards me, I'll just refocus and I'll just pull away and go, that's not worth my time. I'll refocus my attention somewhere else. If I'm feeling a bit tired and I go, okay, well, I'm a little bit tired today, so I've probably got enough to do this, this, and this. Have a look at my diary and I go, yeah, I can manage that for a day. If not, move something. It's constantly just basically looking after your mental health, but taking charge of your mental health, taking those baby steps. And a really, really, really important thing, one thing I'm going to absolutely smash down your fucking throat and to finalise the end of the podcast is, I've forgotten. It's completely gone. No, it's completely gone. I'm joking. To finalise everything is make sure you look after yourself. Make sure that you take those wins. By looking after yourself and acknowledging those wins, that's the key thing there. Get those wins in. It doesn't matter what that win is. Reinforce with positivity every single fucking day. Keep doing it. Energize yourself with that positivity. Even if it's just a case of, do you know what? My back's fucking crippled. I'm happy if I can make myself a fucking brew. If that's all you do, go and make a brew. If that communication piece is the win is, I'm going to go and talk to my colleague today. I'm going to put some things right. Then that's your win for the day. And it might open up dialect, which will open up windows of opportunity. The reason people will say to me, why do you talk to everyone, James? You talk to everybody. You're out in town, you'll talk to somebody buying some, oh, how's your day? How are you? And they go, yeah, they're not. I was buying fucking fish tank stuff today. And the guy, we went into a full-on fucking chat about going for walks and working in winter, no chance to go to the pub. I'd finished at 2:00. He was like, chance to go to a pub. I wish I was going to the pub. This lasted like fucking 5 minutes. I was like, dude, I was just literally buying a fish tank thermometer. And here we are now. I know where you live. I know where you live. But and do you know what? It's just about making people happier. It's about also acknowledging that might open up a window of opportunity somewhere. I treat everybody as I want to be treated. The ones that don't treat me like that, and I do find them, and I'm still finding them now. I've got colleagues that treat me like that, and it's very, very heartbreaking sometimes. oh God, pull out the violin, Jimbo. Only joking. I'm not joking. It is actually quite heartbreaking when you get treated like that, especially when you start identifying it. But you've got to manage your mental health, whatever it will be. The wins. If you take anything from this podcast today, please, is acknowledge the wins. And I say that to everyone. The reason I'm positive all the time, the reason I say positive emails to people and say thank you for doing your job. Why are you thanking them for doing their job? Because it's fucking hard work to get up every single day, come to work for probably wankers, for shit money in a fucking cost of living crisis where I'm trying to fucking get through my life. Probably, not many friends, whatever it may be. I'm going through my own shit at home. If I make that person's day by saying a thank you for doing your hard work, I really appreciate you taking your unpoorly paid job seriously. Why wouldn't I do that? And I've been berated for doing that. Berated. But I'm a lifter. I'm a motivator. You can do whatever you can do. And I will push you to do more. So you tell me what you can do. I'm going to push you to do more. So take that away from today. I've shouted down enough. I feel positive talking away to you. So I hope you're okay. I hope you're managing your mental health. It's really, really, really fucking important. We're getting into dark season as well. So we're getting into people that are now going to start feeling seasonal affect disorder. It's fucking horrendous. We're going to start seeing people having to manage pain because ailments, broken bones or broken whatever, or ligament damage. I know the reason I say that is because right now, sat on my seat, my back is fucking killing me because it's cold and I'm sat here in a really awkward position, not bent over. You fruity bastards. Anyway, so it's kind of like everyone's feeling. So we're in a mixture of emotions. We're going into Christmas. There's always uncertainty. Have I got enough money for Christmas? No, I fucking haven't. No one has. We've got people that are starving. We've got all sorts of really, really bad type things that can come with Christmas, and we can get all wrapped up in our own little, no pun intended, in our own little lives. But there is a lot ongoing in this world, and more so this year than ever with the cost of living and the energy crisis. It's just absolutely barbaric out there, and so just think of that. Think of that when you're managing your own mental health, and think about that when you react to something. Somebody that maybe I'm reacting, and that's what I do now. I think maybe that person's going through something, and that's why they've reacted. If not, and I phone them up, and that's what I tend to do now because I've gone back into this thing called telephone calls. I don't know what that's about. I think I used to do everything via text, but I got into phone calls, and then if they're not, and they're completely back down, and it's all. And then I just think, well, okay, then you're clearly a keyboard warrior, so I'm going to fucking absolutely ignore you, you atrocious bastard. Anyway, so I'm making myself fucking laugh here. Anyway, have an amazing rest of the week, or the week, whenever you've listened to this to. I hope you have an amazing time. Spread that positivity. And please, please, please acknowledge those fucking wins. Winner, chicken dinner. That's the key one today. Take that away from me today. Instead of going left round, up, down, left, right, fuck knows, who knows. Give yourself a pat on the back for taking that win. And even if you're getting down a road that is the wrong road, if you've stopped, acknowledged it's the wrong road, and gone back and tried to take a detour to a better road, that's a fucking huge win, people. So whether you're down the addiction route, whether you're down the alcohol route, whatever route you're down, even if it's a bad place, don't think of it as a bad place. Think of it as a lesson. Think of it as a chapter in your journey. Close that chapter. Chapter's done, pal. Let's fucking move on. Move on and start taking those baby steps. And then every time acknowledging the wins. Don't acknowledge the negativity. It's always there, and you're never ever gonna get the sympathy that you genuinely want in life. You just won't get it because everybody is going through something. Everybody. It's a small percentage of people that aren't. So you're not going to get that. You have to work on yourself. And by being happy, you will naturally surround yourself with people that are on the same journey as you. They are happy. And that's what happens. You get rid of the negativity. And if you're pushing away that negativity, don't look at it as failing. You're pushing it away because it's affecting your journey. And hopefully by pushing them away, I'm going to give you time to sort your path out. Don't push them away entirely, but make sure you tell them, sort your fucking journey out, mate. It's too bumpy. You're going along a bumpy track in a Mini, mate. You need to be in a fucking 4x4. You clown. Anyway, have an amazing rest of the week. And I hope you're all positive. I tried to say as little as possible, and I managed to chuck it in two there. Have an amazing week. Think positivity. Try and acknowledge the wins. Give yourself that rest and recuperation you needed. Remember what I said? 3 to 4 years to get over a fucking burnout, people. Acknowledge that. Because it's learning. This is what it's like. Every day's learning. There's literature everywhere. So have an amazing one. Look after yourself, and I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Love you all. Take care.